We're going to have to pivot on some of our discussion points today after the Scottie Scheffler thing comes down. We'll maybe go to the end of our segment with that. First off, I really want to get in. Before we forget, you're coming to town next month, Arash. Is it next month? Royal Regina Golf Course. Bruce Boudreau. It's a dinner. Ryan Pollock was in co-hosting yesterday. Here it is. If you're watching the stream, Thursday, August 28th, right before the Labor Day, champagne reception and plated dinner. I heard it's prime rib.
Whoa. Champagne reception. Mr. Pollock didn't tell me there'd be bubbly.
Yeah, okay. Baby duck, baby. Let's roll. Tickets on sale. There's only 2 tables left, I heard. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. Brought to you by Flooring Superstore, sponsor of the program. Extreme Hockey and Sport, sponsor of the program. And Cavers, he's basically a bounty hunter, but he's a beauty too. He's not a sponsor of the program yet. And Genesis Automobiles. I've never driven one. But it's going to be a fun event. Bruce Boudreau is coming in. Give people a look behind the curtain, Arash. What do you got up your sleeve?
So Bruce and I have traveled the country doing this. I will say that. We have been everywhere from Lloydminster, Alberta, to downtown Toronto, to Western University's campus and all points in between. And Bruce, for those who may not remember, was Alexander Ovechkin's head coach with the Washington Capitals, was with the Canucks the last go-around just before Rick Tocchet. Bruce has been involved in hockey forever. He has got, and Barney, this is the God's honest truth. We talk about investment opportunities a lot, sprinkles. Mm-hmm. The over-under on stories Bruce has in hockey is around 1 million. Because he's got something for everybody, from Ryan Getzlaf to Wayne Gretzky to Alexander Ovechkin to for those of a certain vintage. If you remember the movie Slapshot, not only was Bruce in the movie, but they used his apartment in the movie. Like it's awesome. If you like pucks, if you like storytelling, he's the best. And he and I have gone around the country doing these things, as I said. And if you like a few pops and a night out, it's time.
I can't wait. And you get to meet my wife finally.
Yes, finally.
That night, it'll be interesting. So I can't wait to get Bruce on the program. I heard you can hook me up and we'll get him on here. Yes. But the apartment scene where he's trying to get a nap in Slapshot, he's got the towel over his head and he's in his boxer shorts and the phone keeps ringing.
The specifics are a question for Coach Boudreau. But make sure when you have him on to ask him the question about when Wayne Gretzky was lighting up his phone, texting him, asking about coming to Edmonton on a trip, because it's awesome.
Okay.
It's awesome. You'll howl.
Colson is writing it down. That might be Colson's question. Yeah, so tickets available at the Royal Regina Golf Course. Like I said, I heard there was only 2 tables left. It sounds like it's going to be a great time. And you guys tour around the country doing it.
And
you got a shtick? Do you guys got a shtick? Is it like all planned out off the covers like Smith and Smith back in the day?
No, it's kind of like, hey, we see each other, we meet at the airport, and we're like, catching up on whatever, and then we sit up on stage and
nice.
It's kind of like, all right, we're going to talk about the same stuff. Like, it's not a shtick, it's just Bruce, and then he'll like, because he loves to talk, right? His nickname's Gabby. So sometimes out of nowhere, he'll drop something, and I'm like, oh, well, tell me more about that. And if there are any Canucks fans out there in Regina who want to come, there's a lot Bruce hasn't said about the Canucks from a couple of years ago and how it all went down. Right. So I think it'll be fun.
Okay. Can't wait. We'll be talking about that more here in the weeks leading up, and then once it's sold out, your SOL. It was smoky in and around Regina on Friday night. A football game postponed.
Really? Are you sure?
I'm really curious on your take on that, because it was something that no one's ever seen, where a game gets pushed to the next day.
Yeah, and I want to word this properly. I don't think there's going to be a scenario where what happened on Friday night will happen again. And what I mean by that is, okay, maybe they'll move it to the next day, but the uncertainty of it all won't happen again. Like what's happening, I think this week, next week, something like that. They already were going to have the CFL a management council meeting, which is basically the team presidents and the people at the top of each organization. Guess what? There's a lot of new things on the docket in the aftermath of this that are going to come up, that will be discussed, that, like when you put policies in place, my take always is, all right, let's think and talk about the unintended consequences. We have a weather program, we have a smoke program, we have a air quality program, whatever you want to call it. Great. Did we take into account what happens if we don't even get the game underway? That hadn't happened yet, right? So now there's going to be a new policy that's going to involve that. It almost seems like until it happens, this is a league that just, it has to happen for them to react to it rather than be proactive to it. We'll see in the new regime if Stu Johnson and company will be more proactive about things, but they're absolutely going to deal with this right away, because you just get the sense more and more of these things are going to happen.
Is it fair how hard people came down on everybody involved, the whole process, because it was so new? And my take, they obviously wanted to play the game. Like we had people that texted in yesterday, the union, to the volunteers that had to come back, to the workers that had to come back. And then a lady messaged in yesterday about paratransit. She can't, they're not mobile, and they couldn't do anything on Saturday, so they had to make different arrangements. Like the rigmarole to get everything back and going. I don't know if I can sit here and really fault anyone, because it was so different. It was uncharted waters.
I think the biggest takeaway from this are a few things. One, communication. Let's let everybody know what's going on first and foremost. A lot of this was happening on the fly because there had been no precedent and there had been no policy. But as you're kind of deciding things, let's make sure everyone's in the loop on things. The other is, there are sometimes things just happen, and like, I feel for the person who couldn't make it to the stadium. I feel for the volunteers. I feel for the people who have to commute hours on end. And bleep happens sometimes. And I'm not, there are things that across the board could have been done better. There's no question. But also there are some things that are outside everybody's control. And I think that the takeaway from this has to be, all right, let's go through this entire thing from start to finish. What are the controllables for us? Mm-hmm. Let's address those one by one by one by one by one. And let's own those. And that's okay. But also, we can't be blamed for the Kennedy assassination either. And I think that's important too, right? Like, Craig Reynolds and Stu Johnson and everybody involved with the Riders wasn't on the grassy knoll on the 22nd day of November in 1963. So could they have been better? Yes. Could there have been better communication? Yes. Should there have been better protocols? Probably. As an old coach once said to me about making a decision on a player, whether you cut them or not, the first mistake, it's on us as a coaching staff. The second mistake, once we coach them up, then it becomes on the player. And so in the aftermath of all of this, let's just make sure that everybody gets better. Let's coach everybody up. Let's have better protocols, different protocols in place, and then we move on and get better.
Any chance so that they're on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository instead of the grassy knoll?
I have been to that school book depository twice in my life. They've turned into a museum. And if you think Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, you are an absolute fool, because there's absolutely no chance that happened. But anyway, that's
they
the
have
difference.
no. This is educational. There's the X on the road. So
Correct.
The best tip I can give people when they go to that is go at night, and there'll be locals, somewhat street people around there, and they give you a better tour, a better of account than anything for like a $10 bill than you're ever going to get anywhere else. It was.
The other thing, Barney, is like, I think when we see it on TV, it feels such like a big area, and then you see it in person, you're like, whoa, that is a tight hairpin turn onto Daly Plaza. Like, it's all a very small little postage stamp where everything went down.
It reminds me a lot, Harry, of going underneath the Broadway Bridge in Saskatoon. It is. It goes down, and then there's an X right there, and it's like, ooh, this is eerie. Okay, besides, do you have anything on the smoke to ask Arash and the process, Harry?
No, I mean, I agree with what he says. Like, you got to get grace for once. If it's a one-off, great. But if this is the fourth time it's happened, then obviously something's got to change. But no, it's good.
Also, like this, and I honestly feel bad for everybody involved, because of all the weekends for this to happen. Of course, it was Craven Fest, where there's no hotel rooms, where there's nowhere for people to stay. Like, to me, the fact that the Stampeders won, with some guys at the hotel and some guys in dorm rooms, and no one really, like, everyone talks about process and collaboration and, going about it. No one knew where they're going to get their next meal. No one knew where they're going to stay. No one knew where the showers were. No one knew anything. The fact that the Stamps won, like, kudos to Calgary. Like that's a hell of a road win in that spot, dealing with total unknowns and delivering when it mattered.
And that is what they look like in their first two drives. It's like, oh, the Riders are gonna hammer these guys. They slept in the back of someone's vehicle last night. They ate who knows what. Gas station sushi at 2 a.m. Riders are going to roll. But that wasn't the case. Hey, this weekend it scares me because we're going to BC, and Nathan Rourke's still a good football quarterback, Arash.
Yeah, he really is. And I'll tell you this. I'm watching the game against Edmonton the other night, boys. And I'm like, okay, so you think about it. It was 11 or so months ago, 10 months ago, that Rourke came back from the NFL. And you're starting to see him now get into a rhythm. You're starting to see him become Nathan Rourke again. Where's been the biggest difference? Where's been the biggest adjustment? It's what he's doing in the pocket. Like, yeah, I get the CFL. The CFL is about running around as a quarterback. It's bootlegging. It's improvising. It's doing whatever you can on the run. Nathan Rourke within the pocket, his footwork has improved. His ability to stay patient in the pocket has improved. His ability to step into the pocket and wait for the opportunity to make that throw has improved. Whatever's going on with BC, and a lot's happening, there's no question about it. But when you look at what Nathan Rourke's doing, most of it's from the pocket. And that's a byproduct of better footwork, better mechanics, better fundamentals, better trust. And that's what's leading to BC's offense starting to cook.
Montreal's going to get better here soon, too.
Davis Alexander coming back. Here's what's interesting about that, guys. So they're home to Toronto this week. I told you guys before the season started that I expected Chad Kelly to end up on the 6th game. And then it was week by week, blah, blah, blah. I don't quite know when Chad Kelly is going to come back to be playing full strength in the CFL. I think it's going to take not a little while, a long while. Like, when Kelly did whatever he did to his knee and leg and this and that in the East Final last year, that was November. And the hope was this was going to be a 6 to 8 month injury, or a 6 to 9 month injury. And then he'd be ready at some point during camp or in preseason or whatever. The Argos have Montreal this week, then back-to-back with Winnipeg. Now, who knows what's going to happen, right? The CFL, blah, blah, blah. If by chance Toronto loses its next 3, I think it's a long time before we see Chad Kelly. Like, if this season goes off the rails in the next month or so for Toronto, it wouldn't surprise me if Chad Kelly doesn't play the rest of the season, because it's one of those deals where it's bad, it's not responding, it's not recovering, he's not practicing, it's not good. That's the number one quarterback in the league now.
That team.
Yeah, like it's this is no disrespect to Vernon Adams, who's balling out of his mind. It's no disrespect to Nathan Rourke or whomever you want to put, whoever you want to put in the conversation for the top quarterback in the league. Chad Kelly's the guy when it comes to quarterback. And I'm not saying his season's done now, but there is a real scenario in which he may not play, and he's not playing anytime soon. So that's where things are. Here we are, mid-July. The season started late May. I would be shocked if we see Chad Kelly playing for the Argos in the next month.
Crazy. Are you an All-Star game guy, Arash? Are you going to be tuning in tonight with bated breath, wondering who's going to win the AL out of the NL in the annual Midsummer Classic?
I am not. I used to be. I just, no. My dad's also in town. It's his birthday. We're going out for dinner. But I don't know if you guys heard this today. The commissioner of baseball has said that if the Tampa Rays make the playoffs, and they probably will, and if the Tampa Rays make the World Series, and they might, the Tampa Rays may play a World Series game in a minor league ballpark. So last year, because of a hurricane, their stadium gets destroyed. So they have moved to the Yankees minor league spring training facility to play home games. It seats around 10 or 12,000. We may be in a scenario, based on what Rob Manfred said today, that stadium is going to host a World Series, games if the Rays make it through to the end of October.
But why there? There's 1,000 stadiums around the North America that they could play in. Why that one?
And I guess it comes down to this. So I've thought about that question a lot, Harry, and it's a good question. If, heaven forbid, a natural disaster happened in Regina, and the stadium was inoperable, and the Riders are hosting the West Final, and for the last 6-7 home games, they've been playing somewhere else in the stadium with temporary seats, would the Riders be cool playing the West Final against Calgary and Winnipeg?
I would say yeah, compared to if it was like Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, where you get 6,000 people, then I think yeah, if they said you could get 30,000 people.
You make some temporary seats added. It's 15,000. Yeah, no, I hear.
I think they would. I think you have to play in a comparable stadium. You can't play the World Series in a minor league facility.
But do you guys remember though? And this was never going to happen, but it was. I remember talking to Dave King, legendary hockey coach, about this. It might have been on the Cage. It might have been on the Nooner, and we were talking about when the Coyotes moved to campus to what's it called? Mullet Arena. And I said, what happens if they make the playoffs? And he goes, what happens if somehow, some way they made the Stanley Cup final? And I was like, I don't know. I would think that the Riders would play. They'd be fine playing at a Griffith instead of Winnipeg, but financially it would be tough.
I feel like they would lease the Gila River Arena for the Stanley Cup final.
But the way I understood it, that not Live Nation, the company that owns Gila River now, like hates
right.
with over and over the Coyotes owners.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. If that arena wasn't built for hockey, like if they hadn't played hockey there for a year, do they have a Zamboni? Do they have everything in place? Is there where's the comparable stadium? Where are you going to go play? Are you going to go play in Nashville at a
Veterans
football
Memorial
stadium?
Coliseum?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying the Rays. Like, do you go to Miami and then you alienate all the northern Florida fans who have to go to southern Florida?
Or Alabama, maybe something closer. I have no idea. Nor do I really care at the end of the day. But it'll be interesting to watch for sure. Okay,
that would be wild.
Let's get to this Scottie Scheffler thing because we got about 4 minutes left here. Harry and I, our take. How do we say we're in agreement that you have when you become a pro athlete and you're doing what you're doing? Yeah, winning only lasts for that little moment on the green, but it's the private jet that you get on after, the vehicle you did, the house, not a care in the world. That is all a result of winning and being good. It wasn't weird, for lack of a better term. I didn't know where his head was at, where he was going with it. I kept waiting him to spin around at the end and make some sort of, poignant. I couldn't figure it out, Arash. What was your take?
My take is a professional athlete, for the first time in a long while, was actually honest. Yes, the sport that gives him riches, the sport that gives him fame, the sport that gives him all of the bells and whistles and toys and all the things. But Scottie Scheffler often wakes up in a very comfortable Ritz-Carlton bed. And he'll wake up and he'll have no idea where he is. And his life is like Groundhog Day. Now, he's not taking a connecting commercial flight that gets delayed because of bad weather, lightning, mechanical, or whatever the idiotic airline industry comes up with these days for us. He flies private. And yes, he's not in a, flea bag motel. He's living a life of luxury. And yeah, he likes what he's doing out there. But it doesn't provide him the satisfaction, the gratification that he thought it would. And I think that, it's okay to say that. And I think it's important for people to understand that just because Scottie Scheffler is incredibly successful in his career and in his profession, that doesn't fulfill him. It's hard for some of us to understand it. What do you mean? You live the best life, the first class existence, et cetera, et cetera. But every day's the same, and every day everyone's coming at you, and every day, yeah, I know this is what I signed up for, and yeah, I know it gives me a lot of money, but it doesn't really fulfill me. And I think that's something that I appreciate about what Scottie Scheffler said today, that this isn't the be-all, end-all of my life. And I think that's important for fans, consumers, all of us to realize and understand.
Yeah,
Oh God, I agree with some of that, but I also disagree.
I think he should have just kept that to himself then, and talked to his mental coach about it.
No, but why? We ask all these athletes, we ask all these people in the public eye to not give us BS answers all the time. We ask them to be honest. We ask them to tell us what they're thinking. We ask them for the truth. And then when they give us that, we're like, well, what are you talking about? This is honestly what he thinks and feels, and this is what's important in his life. And if you ask the question, okay.
And that's what I appreciated from him, is that he's basically said, golf doesn't define who I am. I get my cup filled other methods. That's fine. Golf doesn't have to define you. You are about other things. But I think the other things that I struggled with him talking about, I'm not anybody's inspiration. I mean, you kind of are that, whether you want to or not.
But
you
what
have
he
an
meant
obligation.
by that, though, but Sharky, hold up. What he meant by that was, sorry, Harry. Harry, what he meant by that was, I don't want this to be your inspiration, because this is not inspirational for me. Like, this is not what matters the most to me. So I don't want you to end up in the same spot I'm in. Like, I'm going to just give you a real 0.0001% comparable. Okay. The last year I covered the Blue Jays was 2022. It was a blast covering the Jays, but I just remember being in a camera well in Milwaukee in June on a weekend. I'm looking out. This guy who's never going to pitch again in the big leagues is starting for the Jays. Buddies, I'm on my phone on a group chat. All my buddies are out at cottages and parties and posting photos in group chats and having a blast. And I'm saying to myself, what am I doing here right now? Like people are living their lives, and I'm like right here in Milwaukee. Like, sometimes it just gets to be all-consuming and a lot, and you start to wonder. And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? You're covering the big leagues. You're in Milwaukee. You're doing this. You're doing that. You have the night off. You're going for dinner. Yeah, all that's great, and I appreciated it, and I enjoyed it, and whatever. But sometimes you look around and you say to yourself, man, I also wouldn't mind having a life.
Then walk away.
Yeah.
But why? Why can't he do both?
Because he's not satisfied. Well, why would you want to keep doing something that makes you miserable and doesn't bring you joy when you think there's more out there at the other end of the rainbow for you? Why would you continue to bang your head against the wall?
Because they pay you $1 million a week.
Well, then be quiet about it.
Then you gotta suck it. It is like any job that any of us have ever had. There are days where you're like, I don't want it. But then on the other side, it's like there's the days that you talk about your buddies at the cottages and all that, hypothetically, if you're talking about you. Then there's the days that maybe you're at the Super Bowl or you're wherever, where your buddy's digging a ditch or cleaning a old toilet with a snake that doesn't work. And it's so we could go on this forever. The inspiration thing, it's like you never know when you're a professional athlete, when you're a person in power, when you're anybody like that, you never know when you're going to inspire somebody. And we could go like it's crazy. And it was just, he is now going to have to answer these questions for who knows how long.
And who is he to decide what somebody else should be inspired by? And that maybe they want that life. And who is he to say that this isn't a life that you should want? This is an unfulfilling life, and I'm dead inside.
No,
so
that's
you
not
should
what he
be
said.
too.
It's kind of like the Charles Barkley. It was the Charles Barkley line. He's like, I'm no role model. I'm here to play basketball. I'm not a role model.
No, that.
I don't like that one. Okay, we got to go to break. Can we do this again on Thursday? Can everybody just come back on Thursday? Hey, it's like a counseling session, right?
Harry, I'm sorry.
And if you've never gone to counseling in your life, everybody should go to counseling. Trust me, we all have stuff going on upstairs that ain't good. Hot tip,
100%.
Everybody. But yeah, we can pick it up. And then Arash, we'll talk more on the royal dinner. This is good, boys.
I like it.
Let's all get it out on the table. Maybe we can all have a pint together on August 20. Is it August 28th?
Whatever it is, there's not one. It's multiple.